Hey, what's up? It's TL Gamer here, and this is basically going to be a relatively quick, or I should say, not a broadcast that's not that long, because I'm going to go over a couple of things with this. And the first one is um, there's going to be a lot of rejects that are going to say, well, you're salty, or you can't play, or get good, totally ignoring the actual issue I'll be talking about. And that is from a programming standpoint in a game. This is one of the dumbest things you can actually do, because this is not Resident Evil 4, the remake or whatever you want to call it, that the one that was just released, is not a Dark Souls game. It's not a Souls game, and it's not a rogue-like game. Which means what I'm going to discuss in this should never have existed or been put in the game from a programming standpoint, because it goes against the grain of how games like this are designed. Now, first of all, I'm going to clear up this bullshit that people that already know, or at this point, well, you can do this, or this is easy to get by. I don't want to hear any of that shit, okay? When this release was out, I guarantee you it took almost 100 friggin' hours before people finally figured out how to get around this fight. And that brings me to my entire point. The first encounter you come into the village, people are like, well, the developers wanted to get you to understand. Fuck off. This is the dumbest friggin' thing. This fight scene at the beginning of this in the village that people took over 100 hours to try to figure out how to get through is a mid to end game fight. And again, as I said it before, it's not a Souls game and it's not a roguelike game. So this fight has zero business being put in the beginning of this game, especially when it's like this on standard. Now, whenever I play a game, I usually play it on hard mode, or the hardest difficulty I can get beforehand, because that's just what I do. So people are like, oh, you can't get by this on standard. Fuck off. This has nothing to do with whether or not somebody can get by this. This has to do with the stupidity level of from a programming standpoint for this is complete bullshit, and the idiot who did this should have been fucking fired. This fight never should have been at the beginning of the game. This first village fight literally ruined the game for me. So I'm not talking about what's coming up in the game or whatever else it is. I am literally talking about, you do not put a gamer into a specific situation like this unless it's a Souls game or a roguelike game, and then act like this is fucking for the better, or for the good of the player, especially on standard. Okay, this is fucking ridiculous. Somebody should not have to run around or look up how to get through a fight that is this absurd. Now, people can say, oh, you're salty. Fuck off. From a programming standpoint, again, I'm going to keep saying that this is not a Dark Souls game, and this is not a rogue-like game. So you can fuck off with that it's challenging, you're just mad because it's hard. Nobody's mad. This is fucking stupid. That brings me to the next point on people saying you can bypass this. All right, so in the description below this video, I'm going to link 2 videos that show on the first playthrough that you go on this, you cannot bypass this fight by ringing the church bell. The pistol may hit the bell, but it will have no reaction, and or you can't hit it with the pistol. There are 2 videos I'm going to link in the description below this that'll prove this. And so this bullshit of people, well, how do you know? Well, if it's too hard, then how did people get through it? A lot of people, when they did this, when they first got through this on the first playthrough, cheated. They either they cheated in a gun, or they downloaded a save where somebody had already completed it through a cheat. So once that spread through, people are like, oh, you just do this and do this. Nobody's doing anything. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in a game ever. And game developers need to stop changing the concept of a game into Dark Souls or roguelike and then trying to act like it's for the good of the player to give them a taste of what's to come. This is fucking retarded. This is almost as stupid as the magic system in Two Worlds 2. Despite what anybody's talking about, the magic system in Two Worlds 2 is impossible to use, and I'm going to go over that in a separate video because people are asking me what I'm talking about on that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way because this is just fucking ridiculous. This whole thing is dumb, and that's it. That's really all I have to say about this. So all of the people posting up videos saying you can get through this are dishonest and they're disingenuous, simply because you can't do that on your first playthrough, and everybody's posting it as you can. None of the videos say that you can only do this after a playthrough or if you have certain weapons, and it's disingenuous and it's fucking retarded, just like this fight. Well, that's it. Spasm. I almost said my other name. Anyway, the Steel Gamer.